Welcome to Glove Talk, your weekly news in boxing. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button. With that said, let's get into the news. Okay, so we have new fight details about the Daniel Dubois versus Joyce fight. I want to share those with you, and then I want to give you my general thoughts on the fight and how I maybe see it playing out. I will do a full fight prediction video once we get closer to the fight. So the details first. This fight's been postponed multiple times, but now we actually have an official date, and it is November 28th, which is awesome. It's going to happen this year, but it gets even better. If you're a British boxing fan, you should be excited. This is not going to be pay-per-view. So that's huge. And it also opens up the possibility of maybe it being here in the United States as well. Maybe it's on ESPN, ESPN Plus. I don't know, but the more eyes on this, the more exposure for both these guys, and I think it's well deserved, and I think that's great, and it will do wonderful things for both of their careers. So now let's get into what I think about this fight and just my general opinion. You know, let me know what you guys think about this fight down in the comments below. You know, give me your thoughts on this, and let me know who you have winning and how you have them winning. So first and foremost, I think this is a good fight. I think this is a really good fight for both guys, and I'll talk about each guy and why I think that. For Joyce, a lot of times his age is brought up and, you know, talked about, and it should be talked about. He just turned 35 years old. So I think when people talk about boxers and kind of the legacy and everything like that, they expect to see belts and how many belts have you won and what belts have you won. And I think for Joyce, he's just trying to get as many big wins as possible, get as many decent paydays as possible. And you know what? That's good. I think that, you know, if he beats Daniel Dubois and that catapults him into a different class of heavyweights, that could be huge for him. He could maybe end up with, I don't know, a Dillian Whyte fight. You know, he could end up with a Povetkin fight down the line. There's plenty of other heavyweights that are not belt holders that he could fight, and those could be big fights for him, big wins for him. It'd be wonderful for his fan base, you know, to see him continue to fight and have these kind of, you know, more along the lines of actual pay-per-view fights. So I think that's exciting for him, and I'm excited to see what he does in this fight. I think for Daniel Dubois, this is a big fight because I think it's a good step up for him. I think Daniel Dubois is taking his time and making smart decisions in terms of who he fights. But I think with a win over Joyce, he really kind of cements himself as being someone that down the line is going to be a force in the heavyweight division. And I don't have any doubt about that. There's a couple other guys I see in the mix, you know, in a couple years, especially considering when you think about AJ is getting up in his 30s now, Fury's in his 30s, Wilder's in his 30s, White's in his 30s, Povetkin's getting close to 40. You know, there's these guys that are eventually going to fade as boxers, and it will be very interesting to see how Daniel Dubois steps up and kind of steps into that caliber of fighter eventually, probably in a couple years. And I would not rush him. I'd probably wait at least, you know, 2-3 years minimum. So I'm very excited to see how he does when he steps up to this level of fighter. Now, my general prediction for this fight is I think this is Daniel Dubois' fight to lose. And what I mean by that is he basically has everything in his favor for the most part. Now, he gives up an inch of height and he gives up 2 inches of reach, which is not huge. And I'll tell you why I am a little bit more confident in Daniel Dubois going into this fight. And to be clear, I am a little bit biased. I am a fan of, and I will admit that. So looking at especially the last fight for Joyce, I just saw a guy getting hit a lot, getting hit with clean shots from a less skilled boxer. And I really feel as though that Joyce has a decent chin, but if he gets hit like that from Daniel Dubois, Daniel Dubois is going to KO him. And I think that's what's going to happen. Now, that said, Joyce is no pushover. He's not a punching bag. And so if Daniel Dubois gets in there and tries to press a little too hard and gets in too many exchanges early, he could get caught with something. And that would be very scary because Joyce can hit pretty hard too. And I would not doubt that he does land something a little bit decent. For me, I see Daniel Dubois winning. If he's smart, takes his time, the KO will be there at some point. So that's my general thoughts on this. I'm excited for this fight. I'm sure you guys are excited for this fight. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. And with that said, we'll talk to you later. Thanks.